إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل وسلم على سيدنا محمد في الأولين، وصل وسلم على سيدنا محمد في الآخرين. فيقول الله سبحانه وتعالى: لا أقسم بيوم القيامة ولا أقسم بالنفس اللوامة أيحسب الإنسان أن لن نجمع عظام بلى قادرين على أن نسوي بنانا. وقال أيضا ربنا عز وجل: هو الذي أرسل رسوله بالهدى ودين الحق ليظهره على الدين كله ولو كره المشركون. وعنه المصطفى عليه الصلاة والسلام: أمرت أن أقاتل الناس حتى يشهدوا أن لا إله إلا الله، إلى آخر الحديث. وعنه عليه الصلاة والسلام: من أحدث في أمرنا هذا ما ليس منه فهو رد. وفي رواية: من عمل عملا ليس عليه أمرنا فهو رد، أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام. أحييكم بتحية الإسلام، تحية مباركة، وهي السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Respected brothers and sisters in Islam, welcome again to another topic of men around the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is the second video and it's the final video. As you all know and stated before, that it will just be a summary for the biography of the Prophet Ali alayhi salatu wasalam. Is a very wide topic. You will find numerous sheikhs have talked about it. You can do your own research. The libraries are full with the biography of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam on their bookshelves. So one of the men who was around the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam was Salman al-Farsi, and the book which I am using to quote to you those men who are around the Sahaba, who are around the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, is a book written by Sheikh Khalid Muhammad Khalid, and it is a book which was published in the year 2002. Okay. So we have like Sahaba Salman al-Farsi radiyallahu anhu, of whom his hadith found in the books of narrations. He was of Persian origin. He was a Majusi, Salman al-Farsi, and he started to do his research on about the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam by going, as his story goes, as he learned about the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. He learned that the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam had the seal of prophethood on his back, and he kept searching until he found the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, and he still wanted to see. And it is said the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam knew that what Salman al-Farisi was searching for. So the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam just moved the cloth on his back. That is where Salman al-Farisi radiyallahu anhu knew that this is the prophet of whom there will be the seal of prophethood on his back. Salman al-Farisi helped the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam in the battle of the trench. It is called the battle of Khandaq. He told the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam back then in Persia, when we will have problems fighting, we will dig a trench, and his idea helped the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam to defeat the Quraysh. These were the men of whom they earned the title radiyallahu anhum waradu an, because of them being with the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. They grew in it is called in statue because of being with the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. these companions, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless them in the Holy Quran. لقد رضي الله عن المؤمنين إذ يبايعونك تحت الشجر إنما يبايعون الله يد الله فوق أيديهم فمن نكث فإنما يمكث على نفسه. And many ayahs are there praising the companions. ربنا اغفر لنا ولإخواننا الذين سبقونا بالإيمان ولا تجعل في قلوبنا غلا للذين آمنوا ربنا إنك لرؤوف رحيم. This were around the messenger رضي الله عنهم ورضوا عنه. The likes of Hamza ibn Abdul Muttalib, who defended the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. He defended the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. He also, Hamza bin Abdul Muttalib, it is said, Allahu Alam if this narration is right or wrong, that he breastfed that he was also breastfed with the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. The difference in age was not very long. Hamza radiallahu anhu defended the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam until he was killed by the slave of Abu Sufyan Wahshi during the Battle of Uhud. It is also said that his liver was cut by Abu Sufyan's wife Hind. So these were the men who sacrificed their life. Hamza bin Abdul Muttalib was very brave. He didn't fear the Quraysh. These were the men who had istiqama. These are the men of whom this ayah supports them. قُلْ آمَنْتُ بِاللَّهِ ثُمَّ اسْتَقِمْ. And their likes are many. Let me just end with one more here. And the list is very big, but just have this book, men and women around the messenger. It's a very good book. Well, in my last topic I talked about the book around the messenger, but this book is also helpful. It's called Men and Women Around the Messenger by the Sheikh Khalid Muhammad Khalid. So let me finish by Ammar bin Yasir. Ammar bin Yasir was one of the Sahabas who were the earliest followers of Islam. His mother was called Sumayya, the first woman who was a shahid in Islam. She was killed by Abu Jahl la'natullahi alayhi, by him, piercing her vagina. It is said 2 horses went this side and this side, and he pierced. All this was because they believed in the because she believed in the kalimatul haq, which is la ilaha illa Allah. And also her husband was tortured up to death, except with Ammar bin Yasir, who survived the torture. Ammar bin Yasir, it is also said that he couldn't bear it anymore, that he also disbelieved only by his tongue, but in his heart he believed in the Prophet ﷺ, that when asked by the Prophet ﷺ, did you mean it, he said, no, I didn't mean it. These were the earliest followers of Islam. They were the muhajirin, of whom the Holy Quran mentions them. من المهاجرين والأنصار والذين تبعوهم بإحسان رضي الله عنهم ورضوا عنه. Ammar bin Yasir then became one of the great Sahabas of the Holy Prophet ﷺ. Respected brothers and sisters in Islam, think about this, how people endured pain when accepting Islam. Today, me and you, we have Islam on a silver plate, but we don't practice Islam like those الَّذِينَ سَبَقُونَ بِالْإِيمَانِ السَّلَفُنَا الصَّالِحِينَ. People had pains in getting Islam. A lot of blood was smeared from their bodies. People were killed. People were hurt. People were dragged down until oil was coming out from their backs, all because of accepting La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. And later they did a very great service of Islam despite being tortured. Me and you, what have we done for Islam? Me and you, what have we done for Islam? Wallahu al-musta'an, I will say. The Prophet himself, the pain he endured. His helmet was hit. He lost some of his teeth. All doing jihadu fi sabilillah, so that me and you, we can become Muslims. Read the Tariq of Islam. We have many books in our libraries. Tariq al-Islam of Imam al-Dhahabi, Seera Alam al-Nubala. This book of which I have mentioned, and I have given you lectures, and I've given you today's lecture from this book, Men and Women Around the Messenger, by Sheikh Khalid Muhammad. By Sheikh Khalid Muhammad Khalid. Think. Read how these Sahabas took the religion seriously, that somebody would just work on one ayah for the rest of his life. Like in Sayyidina Umar, who would read the Quran and understand it thoroughly, of which me and you just read from Al-Fatiha to Qul A'udhu bi Rabbin Nas, just for the sake of it, because you know I am a Muslim. I just want to read the Holy Quran, while Sahaba's only one ayah, he could take that ayah seriously for the rest of his life and work on it. Like Sayyidina Umar, if I'm not wrong, he practiced Surah Al-Baqarah. If I'm not wrong, it was a Surah Al-Baqarah, but it was a chapter of the Holy Quran. He took a long time studying it, more than 2 years. Us, can we do that? And back then time was going very slowly. All that long period, just understanding the surah of the Holy Quran. If I'm not wrong, it was Surah Al-Baqarah, but it was a surah of the Holy Quran that he 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 read it so that he could understand it. These are the Sahabas of whom made the Quran to be in a book form so that me and you could read and not to lose reading the Holy Quran. Read the compilation of the Holy Quran during Abu Bakr's time. And the Quran being preserved in the dialect of the Quraysh during Uthman radiallahu anhu's time. And a good book for that in the English language is the preservation of the Quranic text by Muhammad Mustafa al-Adhami. Read that book so that you will know how people did the service to this deen, understood this deen, and why they were told that they were going to Jannah while they were still alive. Yeah, I think all of you know of the Ashara al-Mubashiruna fil Jannah. Therefore, rightly guided Khalifs and some of the Sa'd bin Abi Waqqas, and the list goes until number 10. You will know why they were told that Jannah is for you. So it was only death was to make them enter that Jannah. Wallahi, brothers and sisters in Islam, there's a lot to be talked about such great models to human beings. Such stories can be spoken for eternity. And what is important here is the moral lesson. We should read about such great personalities. And even here in the library, we have stories of great personalities of whom came after the Sahaba. Some people will use a third of their night because of ilm, and a third because of ibadah, and a third for sleeping. We should read about great models in society, how they did service to this deen. Wallahi, there's a lot to be talked, but I would like to stop here. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. ربي ارحمني واغفر لي، ربي اغفر لي وارحمني وعافني واهدني وارزقني. وبهذا السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. See you next time in another topics. While I have problems with my browser, but inshallah all the videos which are not on YouTube, I shall upload them by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And now, as we are going near to the end of the topic of the seera, all of you should continue with your research, and in case you find any mistake which I have done, don't hesitate to correct me by email or by phone. I shall leave my contacts as I always do, and inshallah make dua for me and you so that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide us on tariq al-mustaqim, on sirat al-mustaqim, and on istiqama, on his faith, following the Quran and the Sunnah. وبهذا السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. شكرا.